Also, you seem to like Marx. Like you seem to agree with him on a lot of things.
Oh, well, first of all, my view on Marx is complicated. Okay, I used to be a Marxist, and I used to be an ardent follower of Marx. That is, until people start saying, "Oh, Marx never said anything wrong," and if you reject the 4 or 5 planks of not the planks, like if you reject these tenets, then you're not a true Marxist. And it's like, okay, this is dumb. And then you realize what happened to Soviet Union and China. It's like these even if these things were great, these countries, they're gone. What plan do you have now? Especially in the West. How can the West, how can communism rise in the West? It's not. Like even some Marxists I've talked to admit the last country to fall into socialism would be America. Because it's a red scare. It's like anything remotely, say, government regulated or say socially acceptable to the left would be considered by the right to be communist. Like the Federal Reserve, to some of these libertarians are considered communist. And how
Well, they,
ridiculous that sounds.
well, they can blame that on Ron Paul in his book and the Fed.
Well, that and the creature from Jekyll Island. Stupid book.
well, he didn't. Well, Ron Paul didn't say. Well, he didn't say. He just mentioned that was one of the 10 places of communism, and this and be after that, and this is a path to authoritarianism. That was basically it. He didn't say that Marxist wants that. He just
No, but other people are. They connected the dots. They connected the dots to Ron Paul's book. Like, see, this is communism now. Or like the NRX people would say, America is as communism as apple pie. What Mensch's Moldbug said, because apparently our values, our stuff inside capitalism is basically with Marxist tendencies. So that's their logic about communism being as American as apple pie. It's a bit ridiculous, in my opinion. There's some merit to that, but overall, I just think that's ridiculous.
so just no, just you just describe your views as Marx as complicated. Just oh,
it's complicated because it's like some of the things he says about capitalism are valid, but his conclusions are absolute shit. Communism is where everyone's united together, in this stateless, classless, moneyless society where everyone could just be what they want and do what they want, like as that like Marx's online on Twitter, Jehu. I don't know if you know who that is.
don't know.
He's like, his famous quote was, "Communism is just free time and nothing else." It's like, I already have free time. It's called off work.
Oh,
I mean, it's just the conclusions are absolute shit. You're not going to bring everyone to equality, and when you read the history of the tensions between Mao's China and the USSR, you could see like they're dividing themselves over issues relating to geopolitics. They considered themselves as like enemies at some points. The whole relationship was complicated because Moscow wanted to be the center of the socialist revolutions, and everyone needs to report back to Moscow. Meanwhile, Beijing was doing its shit and caused cultural revolution and all that jazz, and everyone wanted nothing to do with Mao after that.
ooh. Well, let's see. If I was given the choice to live in Mao's China or the Soviet Union at the time, let's see. I probably live in the Soviet Union. Just
Well, funny enough, the Soviet Union actually discriminated against African Americans there. So,
uh, uh,
so African students were more likely to be treated well in China who are communists than say Soviet Russia. There are incidents in like Baku and Azerbaijan and Georgia where they're being discriminated and laughed about, and actually like beaten up a little bit. But of course, people on Twitter, the tankies, are going to deny it and post like this 20-second clip of some guy praising some black guy praising the Soviet Union. You know, propaganda, propaganda for their tanky masses. As usual.
Well, if you're interested of a guy who likes to debunk tankies, he's a very apolitical figure.
Denying history?
Yeah, you know who that is?
Yeah, I know who it is. I watch his videos on Holocaust denial and the whole Holodomor denial.
Oh, I talked to that. Okay, here's a conversation I had with denying history. We talk about the Holocaust, Holodomor, and the roads.
Yes, that's all it, because that guy is focused entirely on that for the most part. Like that's his life, is debunking that.
well, also at some point in the conversation, we call someone that we particularly know retarded for some reason. Mm-hmm. That I love denying history.
Seems like a nice dude.
He is.
He was on that live stream with academic agent and Ray about the Russia meddling thing, the Russian probe. I tried watching that. I just thought academic was just awful. He wasn't making any points. He's like, this is just all fictional, and yeah, this is just nonsense. It's like, can you please explain why it's nonsense? It's like, nope. It's like, okay. It's like Ray's making points about, certain Russian counts and stuff, and you're basically just dismissing it because fuck it.
So, what's your thoughts on the Russians hacking or attempted to hack the election?
It happened, it did happen, but it's been hyperventilized to the point like no one takes it seriously anymore because no one cares. Recently, I just got an email from Twitter about this Russian investigation thing. Let me see. Information regarding the Russian influence campaigns. As part of our recent work to understand Russian-linked activities on Twitter during the 2016 president election, we identified and suspended a number of accounts that were potentially connected to the propaganda effort by the Russian government-linked organization known as the Internet Research Industry. It just goes on to say, we know how Twitter is just basically a shit posting place, and we're just trying to make sure we get all the Russian bots away. It's like, Russian bots. I complain about, how much I hate Russia on here multiple times, and people give me shit for it. No. Like, I even complain about Russia being the way it is because of its policies in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s from this, and took inspiration from nationalists and the far right by the guy named Francis Parker Yaki. He was a follower of Spengler, and he wrote this book called Imperium. Imperium basically is a book talking about his philosophy, and some parts of it he mentions how, if he had to choose between Russia, the Soviet Union, and the United States, he would choose Russia because even though they have communism in their minds, they're still Europeans in their hearts. And they would support that over the continuing degradation of American society. And people don't believe me when when it's like Russia evolved, this was a natural state of which Russia turned out to be. And you look at the Marxists today, Marxist-Leninists defending Russia. Like how ridiculous that is. Russia is complete opposite of what Marxism is now. Complete opposite. It's an imperial state run by oligarchs. But they still support it because it's against Western imperialism, and they hope the Soviet Union comes back. That's what they're hoping on. It's ridiculous.